Sok, Suk, Mahidik. Suk Mahidik. Eileen Dover. Eileen Dover. Wayne Kerr. Wayne Kerr.
Lo-fi guaranteed here. I got another look on my face that I want to show you. This time it is the look that you see on my face when I see American parents rising up against commie teachers. This story comes from Project Veritas, aka the last good journalists left. They're kind of like the spy network or intelligence agency serving the public directly. But we're going to take a quick look at this just for the context that it'll provide.
180 days to turn them into revolutionaries.
How do you do that? How do you
Scare the fuck out of them. Yeah. Sacramento organization that is under the banner of Antifa is very loosely organized, right? So like, yeah, when there's like right-wing rallies and stuff, then we'll create an opposition to that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Where would he go to connect to some of these organizations?
I post a calendar every week,
awesome.
and then so like and I do it for extra credit, so they get points for doing it. And so that encourages them to do it. And I've had like students show up for like protests, community events, tabling, food distribution, all sorts of things. When they go, they take pictures, they write up a reflection. That's their extra credit. Like I have an Antifa flag on my wall, and a student complained about that. And he said it made him feel uncomfortable. Well, this is meant to make fascists feel uncomfortable, so if you feel uncomfortable, I don't really know what to tell you.
Are we talking about Italy? No, I don't think we're talking about Italy here. I'm pretty sure he's talking about the other half of the country. This is basically how Mao's regime in China furthered the extent of the power of the Communist Party. It's called the Long March Through the Institutions. It's basically the idea that you're going to get into the system and change things from the inside, only you're fucking communists, so you have no idea what you're doing. You inevitably end up handing power over to a totalitarian regime, which, as you can see, governments in the Anglosphere around the world, Australia especially right now, are basically just becoming totalitarian police states, becoming more and more like that every single day. But the good news is that there are people who are waking up to this, who say, we're not going to take it anymore. This is the kind of thing that just gives me hope for the future, where seeing stuff like this Gabriel Geip twerp, it boils my blood, but not so much. See, this would be another Watch Me Get Angry video if it weren't for this. This had to have been a strategic decision on Project Veritas's part. They released that video right before a Natomas County School Board meeting that all these parents who saw that video showed up to. There's a lot of stuff like this happening across the country right now, and I cannot get enough of it. By the way, before I continue, the thrilling conclusion to The World Storm Chapter 3, The Princess Rescue, is coming out likely tomorrow or on Monday. So Sunday or Monday, that is September 5th or 6th for the dozen of you who might be watching this in real time. But if you're watching this in the future or watching me for the first time, hey, follow these instructions right here below my face. In dutiful spirit, they answered the call of battle, a need for those who would preserve their kingdom, a lineage for the sake of a people. Their crimson banners signaled that the blood of patriots flowed through them. There was nothing else to be done. Without further ado, let's watch some pissed off mama bears.
Any teacher or staff pushing anti-American, hateful, or political agendas against America on our students, families, or communities, we want you out. Now. Not paid leave, and not in a week or two. Now.
I've heard, like everyone, anecdotes around the country of left-wing indoctrination in schools. And people would always tell me, oh, that's just an isolated incident, don't worry about it. Well, it's hit home for me now. And I ask for a full investigation to root this out, not just from Intercom High School, but from this district.
Teachers, mainstream journalists, social media, global corporations, they are all marching to this same drum.
This young woman tonight took an oath to defend the Constitution and to rid this country of enemies, foreign and domestic, I ask that all of you do the same. Thank you.
These are domestic enemies. There's no other way about it.
The first day of school that my daughter goes, her teacher tells her that white is the worst race there is. They tell her that you cannot be racist against white people. This is just too much. This man being fired is not everything that we want.
This could go one of two ways. It could go students start turning these parents into their teachers, and the parents get, you know, disappeared by the secret police, or you'll get more parents like this rising up, becoming vigilant, and just shining a light on this stuff.
Thank you for allowing me to speak, and I also want to thank Project Veritas for exposing this, because without their due diligence, you guys would have done nothing, because you did nothing when these students complained. And when a student complained, Mr. Geip stood up before the class and bullied him and said that if this flag bothers you, you must be who it's supposed to bother. He told the students to put their photos up on the wall to identify their ideologies. Children do not come to school to identify their ideologies. They come to school to learn to become productive citizens.
Everybody knows why we're here. You know, the indoctrination of our kids is unacceptable. There's a clear line in the sand that needs to be drawn.
That line is between nationalists and globalists. Don't forget it.
And as you guys sit up there behind your bureaucracy, I blame the leadership from the top down, because that's where it is. It's not an isolated incident with this guy.
This is bigger than one teacher. If this investigation doesn't expose everything, and you aren't above the board and transparent, I would challenge you to pick anybody out here to be on that investigative body. You're not going to get it done.
Every single one of these people is voting for Larry Elder. The black face of white supremacy, baby.
It's really going to get uglier. There were so many red flags. The man had an Antifa flag behind his desk. He had Chairman Mao in the fucking corner. Are you kidding me? His tattoos probably told the story.
One of his tattoos was actually an Ingsoc tattoo. The villains from 1984.
I tried to put myself in the place of a young student returning to school after a couple years of isolation and just the horrible things, the isolation and the lack of social contact. And I tried to imagine myself as that student returning.
Yes, it does bear mentioning that the last 2 years have, last year and a half, year and 3/4, the last little while have been the most egregious abuse of American civil rights, certainly of the century, certainly perhaps of the last 2 centuries. And it didn't target a specific community, it targeted everyone, and did no good. Unemployment up, drug abuse up, deaths by suicide up, depression up, mental illness up. There's no two ways around it, and if you try to find a way around it, you have Stockholm Syndrome for the state. No sympathy.
I'll ask my questions, just 2 that I have right now here are, have any prior complaints been made against Gabriel Geip, and have they been reported to Inderkum High School? Has the board taken steps to identify any of those teachers who may have been sharing their opinions in the classrooms? And if so, what actions are being taken?
He ain't doing jack shit.
Where is the American flag in his classroom? Where is the Constitution or literature, the Declaration of Independence hanging up in his classroom? Nowhere.
Oh yeah, he was an AP government teacher. Like, whose government?
Prior to this meeting, I had heard at least one of his students come to his defense, arguing that he is an intelligent, kind, helpful person and does give 2 sides to his lectures. I have no doubt that some of his students do in fact feel this way. As far as I can tell from his video, Mr. Geip is a predator of sorts.
The kids who probably agree with this teacher are probably the ones he has groomed the most successfully. And as long as we're talking about grooming, I think it's bears mentioning that you should be suspicious of anyone trying to teach minors about sexuality.
If the Supreme Court can find the 10 Commandments unconstitutional to be posted in our public classrooms, then how can this be any different? Yes.
the first thing that he said to them, to the students at the beginning, the same thing that he said on the video. I have 180 days to turn you guys into revolutionaries. That's how he started the year, okay? Now they asked him, well, you know, what's going on? He said, I can't tell you anymore. He said, I don't know you guys.
That's when we say the mask is off.
He went through hell last year, and you put all of us on the front line last year. We got to see everything that was going on. You have the men in blue here to protect you guys. They should be knocking on that door, arresting that man.
That's true. A whole lot of people got to see basically the first time what's actually going on in these classrooms by doing the whole remote teaching thing. Like, we already knew that the higher education, the colleges, we already knew that they were occupied enemy territory, basically. It was no secret. They're indoctrination camps, basically. Like, in 2019, nobody had to look too far to understand why it is that going to college was a bad idea. It has become shockingly clear just how much of that stuff has trickled down to the K through 12 level. I don't think we're at a saturation point of no return just yet, and the more stuff like this happens, the better, but the students, they just don't know any better. They go into their AP government class, they see this guy trying to turn them into revolutionaries, and they don't know any better. They think, oh, this is the guy who's in charge, he's in the position of power, we're gonna listen to him, he's in the front of the room. And to some extent, a lot of the teachers, I think, don't know any better. We don't teach Russian history, we don't teach Chinese history, we don't teach about the Bolshevik Revolution or the Chinese Cultural Revolution. Those are extracurricular activities at best. Nobody understands just how much we're replicating the conditions that led up to those disasters, albeit with a 21st century American twist.
My daughter is standing behind me is because my job as her parent
This is my favorite one.
her from anybody that has ill will towards her. So being that this is her first year at this high school that is world renowned and everybody knows about this school, it's so perfect and everybody does everything right. The first time my daughter tells me and she goes against my wishes to come out of a classroom that's disruptive to her well-being, I have an issue. I am very articulate. My children are very well read. They speak their opinion. They make sure that they are clear in what they do and do not like. And for the fact that my 17-year-old daughter had to come to me and said, Mom, you don't understand. Let me explain. This means that in 2 weeks, in 13 days, he was allowed to change my daughter's mind about some fascist crap that y'all have let in this school. This is ridiculous. I'm from Texas. So this don't go on in Texas.
I myself am ethnically Texan. As you can see, the resemblance.
This does not go on in Texas. There are 2 grades higher than California, period. So to think that my very sound-minded daughter would go against me and my wishes and our values in our home to be able to go and support this man and he is putting her in harm's way, what the hell are y'all doing? I'm tired. How long does it have to go on before somebody says something? Yes. How long? How long? What are you gonna do?
How long is a Chinese name?
Get him out of here. We don't fucking care about this boy. He got to
go. The parents in this area are awake. We're gonna be at all the meetings. Letting you guys know.
These kids that are being taught Marxism and socialism, if you guys have noticed, they are more depressive. They don't have accountability. They're always playing the victim. And then now he's talking about he's scared for his life because Veritas put him out there. What kind of example is that to our children? And he's teaching our kids, high school kids, our future leaders.
And what you just said about Veritas putting them out there, that I think that doubles down on what I said earlier about them, is that they're essentially the intelligence agency of the general public. They are our secret agents. You know, the intelligence community, it doesn't just have to be, you know, the CIA shit-kicking in the Middle East, or the FBI letting people into the Capitol building.
And we have a board member, Lisa Kaplan, who is an admin for that board member, for that Facebook page.
Oh?
And today, when a parent asked to see the video, I posted the video from Project Veritas, the Facebook link.
Plot thickening.
Her response was, "This is inappropriate for this forum and will be deleted." Phil.
That is the sound of the plot thickening.
For this forum, and it will be deleted. Feel free to Google on your own. It's an Natomas Unified School Forum page that's public. And my response to that was, why are we censoring this? It's inappropriate what the teacher did. So you're censoring the parents from knowing what happened, and you have no problem with that, but you didn't censor the teacher.
Spirit of censorship just keeps trickling down.
Hello everyone, I'm Bobby. I'm a sophomore here at
Hey, and now we're hearing from one of the kids.
I am under all of your instruction. I was called last year when I started freshman year under the lockdown politically illiterate, and all of my beliefs politically illiterate under GYPE. A teacher I didn't even have. I didn't even know the guy. I was called politically illiterate for comparing his system and this entire system of the lockdown and all of that to socialism. Politically illiterate. Now, I have to say, I had a teacher before all of this, 8th grade, right before the lockdown happened, Mr. Fernandez. He escaped communist Cuba, moved to Russia, then that went communist, and we went to the Soviet state.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling. Socialism takes your healthcare first. They own your body. Second, they take your education. They own your mind. This needs
Actually, they do education first, but
change.
I admire the moxie, but I think he's a little bit off on the finer points there.
This needs change now.
Okay, thank you.
This is the board members. Wait. And this is the guy who said he'd talk to us.
Look at it.
We said. So the board members have left. They're all leaving. They're all leaving. There was another.
God bless Project Veritas. Well, that's that for that. Please remember to subscribe to my channel. Check out The World Storm. The thrilling conclusion to Chapter 3, The Princess Rescue, is coming out this Labor Day weekend. Don't miss it.